Hello, it's Gwen again. Today is Saturday still, and it is Saturday, July the 15th, 2017, and the time is 10:57 p.m. Now, the second I just made one a few minutes ago. Check that out. I'm not even going to tell you the name of it, but anyway, I just finished one a little while ago. This one is about the pro-black and black first mindset. I use these terms interchangeably because they mean the same thing to me right now. And when I figure out the difference, I'll talk about them. And what I'm going to cover on this one is how we must stop thinking that we need other people. This mindset is present in every other culture. Mate and marry black. Withdraw your heart, your mind, and your spirit from white society. Watch out for agents. Be prepared to let some folks fall by the wayside, and recognize that we are in a terror and hostage situation. So let's see. First off, the pro black and black first mindset is actually current in every other culture and people across the world, except for them, it is an assumption. They assume and presume that this is a part of their life. They don't have to say the words pro white. They don't have to say the words pro Asian. They live it. They don't have to have a movement for it. They already do it. It is built into their society. They get it. They focus on it. They live it. They understand it. It was incorporated in their society. We're the only ones that need to have a movement, somebody say it. And then even that, nobody wants to hear us say it because they decide it's wrong. But in fact, everybody else lives it. The reason why we're going pro-black and black first is because we ain't got nothing. Nobody is giving us nothing. Nobody is sharing. We're giving everything out and being depleted, but it's not coming back. So yeah, we got to look at that. At least, at least we can just look out for ourselves and please give us a break. Don't spend your time fussing because we're at least trying to look out for ourselves. When you have been, and I'm talking every other culture, have been doing that since time immemorial. Um, that's why the black community gets depleted because all of our resources drain out. Nothing comes back, or if it does, it's a little trickle. Nothing on the magnitude of what drains out. So that means you get depleted, and we are depleted. Things are gone, and so and it sounds like y'all don't even want us to have that, and that's unforgivable. So yeah, other cultures and people already presume pro whatever they are. You think a pro Italian person don't even have to say it. They live it. They already do it. So we have to have a. Unfortunately, we're so broken and so brainwashed that we have to have a movement for it to focus and say it and do it to even understand how to do it. And so, yeah, we've got to work on that. Pro black mindset. A pro black mindset in this thing is a pro black and black first is where we focus on ourselves. It's as simple as that. Focus on doing things of benefit to ourselves, just like everybody else does. Just like everybody else does. If we got back a quarter of what we gave, we'd be 50% richer. We'd be that much richer because it depletes. One analogy I was thinking about, and as an example of what I'm talking about, is a kitchen sink that you fill up, that you turn the faucet on, right, and running water in it. You put the stopper in the sink, and you watch it fill up. Think of that sink in that water filling up as black resources, black people resources, or just resources in general. Everybody got resources. Think of, but in this sink, this particular sink, think about black people in black neighborhood and their resources, black people's resources. Turn that faucet on full and watch that sink fill up. Okay, that's what it looks like if we kept the resources in the community among black people. It'll flow, it'll overflow. because you keep the resources coming in and none of it is going out. Now, cut that faucet off and unplug it. Now, watch those resources drain out. That's the state we in. I'm gonna be fair. Cut it on a trickle. Cut the faucet on a trickle and watch that little bitty trickle come in and go right out. That's more like the state we're in. Now, gonna take it to another level. As that water draining out of that sink, picture a whole bunch of other sinks beneath it. And picture, and one of them you picture a size of a sink the size of a bathtub, another one the size of a swimming pool, another size of another bathtub, and on and on and on. Big old sinks. Those are everybody else's communities. And as it drains out of ours, it's filling theirs up. Okay? So that's what I'm talking about. And all of them got their stopper in theirs. Now, they might throw a trinket or two our way, but it is in no way filling up at the rate it's draining. So that's why we need a black first mindset, so we can put that stopper back in the sink and keep our own stuff. Okay? You get it? That's the way I think about that. So we're gonna put that stopper back in the sink and we're gonna try to figure out how to turn that faucet all the way back on and make that water start flowing back in. And anybody else want their own resources? Because see, they got their own faucets. That swimming pool got its own faucet. They got that hydrant water flowing right in and filling it up. The Hispanic community got its own faucet. They done cut that on. It's filling up that bathtub. They got all them other communities. The Asian community got a swimming pool size sink. They got their hydrant coming in. But they still want to deplete our little old resources coming in, that little trickle coming in. They get mad at us because we want to keep our little trickle. So that's why I'm saying a black first, pro black mindset is needed because we never even learned how to do it. So we have to have a movement for it. And we have to learn some rules and how to do it and change the way we think. And it's about time because really we've tried everything else. So unless you are ready to adopt a pro black and a black first mindset, you're not going to change anything because everything is going to remain the same. We've already tried so many things. We have already tried so many things, all things. If you can name something we haven't tried, fine, go try it. But for those of us who are interested in the pro black and black first mindset, leave us alone. Go on over there and do whatever it is you think you want to do. That's the same. That's most likely the same thing that's already been done and tried. And I'm just saying that if there was something that hadn't already been tried, I'd be trying that. But I give up. I want to focus on us. And mind you, the people who are in the pro black, black first mindset and community are not a bunch of losers who couldn't get a job or couldn't get a future. No, these are people who, a lot of these people who are people who could go right up to the sky in their careers and jobs. There are a lot of them who are getting good money or had good money before they stopped. They were on the gravy train before they stopped. Now, the reason why they stopped was because they looked around. It is not enough for you to just make it and have your money. Once you look around and see your brothers and sisters, that's your dividing point. Is whether you say stay silent or do you start fussing and start looking at it and start trying to do what you can to make it change or at least recognizing the problem. So that's a dividing line. That's the dividing line between the people who are in the movement, pro black, versus the ones who aren't. And they are sitting pretty and they've got what they wanted and they want it all to go away and leave them alone. They fussing about the people who get killed in the street, but they don't want to fix it because they don't want to do anything to change it. Not even change their spirit, not even change their heart, not even change their mind. So what's the problem is that Some of these people who don't want to change are powerful people in the community. They're strong in the church, strong in the this league or that club, but they're not fixing nothing because it's still going the same direction they always been. And that's a problem for me. Okay? So um some of the things you can change right now, while you do need a job, and I'm not saying you go and act a fool on your job just because you got knowledge. I'm saying that as far as jobs goes, you need to go to work and do your job and do it well and do it to the best of your ability, whatever your job may be. Go to work, do what you committed to do, but don't commit your spirit to that, to white society. Don't commit your heart to white society. Don't lay up with white people. Don't socialize with white people. I, First off, trust me, you will be a lot more peaceful. You will be so much less stress if you put white people out your life. Trust me, please trust me on that. The sooner you get rid of them out of your life, the less stress you'll have. But first I'll talk about body. Your body, you can do what you have to do with your body. That is going to work, and they get your 8 hours. But beyond that, you don't have to give it to them. Beyond that, you don't have to give them anything else. You give them what they pay you for, which is your body doing whatever work you're supposed to be doing, typing, driving, emptying trash cans, lawn mowing, whatever it is that kind of work you do. They get your body and they get your whole physical thing while you do your work and do it well. And then you get your money. And then you get paid and you start focusing on spending it in black restaurants and the local black things that go on in your neighborhood. So, yeah, let them have your body for now until you can train your kids to start their own business. Because that's your next step. Your next step is to train your kids to be business owners and business makers, to be merchants. Train your kids to be a merchant. So that's so you're going to be the last generation that's going to work. Your second generation is going to be a merchant and on their own. Okay, so finish that. Now, what you can do is control your mind. Right now, you can control your mind, you control your heart, and you control your spirit. That is, you can use your mind to focus on studying and learning about black first philosophy and thinking, black first things. You can write your own ticket, write your own book, but you got to look at that and think about how to make sure that your resources are staying in your little neighborhood as to the extent that you can. Most likely, if you're like most of us, we can't control where we spend our money at for our needs, but we can control where we spend our money at for our wants. Like fast food. Go to a black restaurant instead of McDonald's. Go to a black restaurant instead of McDonald's. If clothes, go to a black clothes maker instead of the local store that's selling stuff from out of Korea and China and Indonesia. You can go to a black, sorry about that noise. Sorry about that noise. Okay, it's done. Okay, so you can go to a black vendor, out of Africa. Just check the label to make sure they actually came out of Africa or were made in Africa. But if that don't happen, then you can at least get a neighbor who likes a sew to make your clothes and pay them. Pay your neighbor to make your clothes. And fortunately, because black people, we're well built in general, even loose fitting clothes look nice on us. So find a design that you like looking at as a pattern and get your neighbor to make it for you. Even if you and her get together and go out to the fabric store and purchase the patterns or whatever, or even if y'all can get weaves and patterns from in Africa. Okay, woven cloth or whatever from Africa or local people. But to the extent that you can, since your clothing is a want, you can focus on buying black. Okay, Those are ideas. Those are thoughts. You can use your mind to have those kind of thoughts and figure out how to do that locally with your black neighbors. That's black first. Do you think for 1 second that an Asian person is going to come all the way to a black vendor or store person who sells something black and buy it out of there when they got a Asian person that's selling that same thing down the street? Okay, they're not gonna go come across town over here to you to buy your stuff. But you have been known to go over there to buy their stuff. So that's the kind of thing. Now your heart. Your heart is the way in these terms I'm using it is your focus and drive and your interest. Withdraw that from white society. Don't focus and don't spend your drive on things that benefit them. Do spend it on things that benefit you and yours. Okay? So that's all about your heart. Don't spend your sorrow on them. Don't spend your cheer on them. Spend it on your friends and family in your local community. Your heart and your will is a resource. Your heart and your will is a resource. That is power. Your focus, your energy, your love, your hate, that's power. That's a form of energy. Don't spend your energy on other people. Spend that energy on you and your family and your friends. Now, about your spirit. Very similar to heart, except this is on a um, metaphysical level. Don't spend your spiritual energy focusing on white agendas because all you're doing is depleting your resources. That's one of the things that's draining out the sink. And the reason why white people are so well with their damn big old swimming pool full of resources is because a lot of that is your energy that put it there. A lot of your spiritual energy help fill their big old swimming pool. Just think if you had a kept your part of it, you'd have at least 3/4 of a swimming pool because you have that much spiritual energy. So yeah, withdraw your spiritual energy from white society. Focus on black interested things. And I hate to keep saying it, I hate to keep harping on it, but back out of Christianity, back out of Islam. I know a lot of you won't do that immediately, and so I get it. We still need you in this Black First pro black movement, but recognize that you're not going to be a primary in it. Recognize that you are not going to be a primary in that because you're worshiping white people. You're worshiping light brown people. You're not worshiping black people. Even the thought of that sends you in a frenzy because you can't even conceive of worshiping a black person. So no, you're not going to be a primary because you're not ready yet. You can't see a black person as a topmost divine thing there is because your brain and mind and spirit won't let you. So you can't be a primary in the pro-black movement because you are not pro-black yet. However, what you can do is feed the hungry that are near you. You can help clothe them. You can do things like that. Yeah, we need you. We need you to help with the community to the extent that you can. I know Muslims, and I don't have a problem with them selling their bean pies and all that, but there's only so far we can go with them. So yeah, when there's a meeting of a mind, yes, use them. Yes, we are willing to use your help if you're willing to offer a helping hand to the black community. But you can't get in the final door of the black first movement because you got divided loyalties when you're worshiping somebody white. If you are mating with a white lady or mating with the white man, and that's second thing is marry and mate and marry black. Not only that, I'm going to go a step further and talk about eugenics. You remember that little rhyme that we all live by? If you black, stick. If you black, get back. If you're brown, stick around. If you're yellow, you're mellow. And if you're white, you're all right. Reverse it. Because we all lived with that and nobody said a word, right? We all live with that hierarchy and nobody said a word. So let's continue to live with the hierarchy, but except in the other direction. Because right now we have that hierarchy right here in our community. That hierarchy is alive and well in our community, and nobody's even challenging it because they think it's supposed to be there. So reverse it. Because if I ever do get married, I decided I won't marry anybody that's any lighter than I am. But when I was a girl, I wanted to be the darkest. But now I decided I want somebody darker than me. Not that I've long since had menopause, but now I want to look in a dark black face. And if that's what I'm going to fall in love with, then I want it to be the deepest, blackest, melanated male there is with a six pack and hard buttocks and big thighs and big legs and broad shoulder. Well, okay, never mind that. But yeah, I got a specific type in mind. But oh, that abs thing that was important. But yeah, I want a melanated male. When I was younger, I probably would have wanted a light skinned male or whatever was on the menu because I was thinking differently. Now I'm not. I'm pro black and black first. So if you're going to mate and marry, then mate and marry black. If you're not going to mate and marry black, then you have very likely, I'm sure you have divided loyalties. Okay? So you're going to be suspect to me. If you can't figure out how to mate and marry black, you're going to be suspect to me. And there's so only so far you're going to be able to go up and up and where we are. And the people that I think that I affiliate with or think about would have the same opinion. So the next thing is that there are people who are going to have to fall by the wayside. So if you haven't gotten rid of your white deities, any of them, and you haven't gotten rid of your Arab deities, we might have to let you go at some point. We might have to let you go at some point. You can we feel I'm happy if the Christians consider to continue to feed the community and clothe them and help them where they can. I'm happy when the Muslims are helping people get off drugs and alcohol and get themselves in order. Honestly, if the people do 50% of what the Muslims say do, we'll be 90% better off because they're only asking that you take care of yourself. There's nothing wrong with that, except only problem I have is that their main focus is not a deep black melanated deity. It's an Arab. The Semitic God is half black and half white. That's what Semitic means, and so it's a God of Semitic people, which was the Hebrew God, and anything from over there in that desert region is Semitic people. It's not a black God, so it don't. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't work for me. Watch out for Asians. Let me stop right there for a second to make sure I got through everything else I wanted to. Okay, yeah. Next step is watch out for agents. I think that a lot of coons are really were initially pro black and pro melanated and black first. Then they got frustrated and turned into coons. But some of them were always coons or agents. An agent, in my context, is somebody who is undermining us, undermining pro black movement, undermining black first movement, anything. And so the way to look at it, if they're saying or doing anything that's going to take you away from something that's helpful to black people or pro black people or black first people, then they're suspect. So if they're saying things like what's wrong with marrying somebody white, they're suspect. If they're saying things like the civil rights movement was helpful to black people, they're suspect. Because if anything, we're worse off. Now, in the 60s and 70s, when it was in its heyday, we were better off. But when the 80s happened, they could take it away. They took it away. They started taking away rights and civil rights, okay? They started taking away rights. So a person that's pro-black would say, okay, I'm going to get my own because you can't take away what you didn't give me. If I've got my own, I can take my own and keep my own and fight for my own. But if you and the civil rights movement or whatever gave me something and then I have stopped focusing on building my own, and then suddenly you pulling the rug out from under me, then I've got to figure out how to not to let that happen again. That's why there's a pro-black and pro and black first mindset, because they don't want that to happen again. I watched the mood swing that happened in the 80s. I was alive. I was looking at it and I was astonished because first off everybody's singing and dancing and having a good time, and then suddenly the 80s happened and it was like a total reversal, and I call that a mood swing. Really, we were. They had songs like "He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother," or uh, things like "Take a Load Off," or what is that? The Weight, and all kind of pro people songs and movements and helping each other and all everybody together. We're moving forward. It was beautiful. I lived it. I saw it. And then the 80s happened and it came into family values and take our country back, and they taking our jobs and all kind of things. Okay? So that was a mood swing. That was a mood swing. They reversed all those laws and things. They stopped them. So next thing you know, black people out in the cold. And so we've been in the cold ever since. But we're in the cold because we let ourselves be vulnerable. We didn't know it at the time, but now we do. And so now we got to change. Change the way we handle things. And one of the things to do is get your pro-black and black first mindset. So, and now watch out for agents. These are people who are undermining that. And so, anytime they say anything or do anything that doesn't look like it's pro black at the end result, then they got to be suspect. And these are some of the people that might fall by the wayside. There are people who are still mated with white people. Now, in my mind, if you committed to a white lady and you have kids by her, you need to stay with your family. But you need to get out of here. Stay with your family. Maybe find another movement to join. But this ain't your primary place because you haven't made your mate a black man or a black woman. So you might have to fall by the wayside at some point. And those are some of the strongest people who are most economically viable. But still, we would rather you stay over there where you are. Okay? So, yeah, some people might have to fall by the wayside. And that's fine because there's a lot of people doing a lot of things. What puzzles me though about white people, as soon as you start talking pro black and black first, they want to join. As soon as you start talking pro black and black first, they want to join. Talking about we all should be together. We all should have a dialogue. Can't we talk about this? And I'm saying there are agencies and people out there waiting on you to talk to them. Why are you over here? There are people with a teacup out begging you for a dialogue. You skip past them and cuss them out. They're trying to talk to white people and join and have this conversation about race, and you done cussed them out and said, I ain't talking to you. But then somebody finally says, I don't want to talk to you. You showing up at the door. That's puzzling and suspicious. So just, I just wanted to put that out there so that you won't show up at the door trying to talk. We see you. Go talk to the ones who actually do want to talk to you, because maybe y'all can build and do something. We'll know when the things and in the situation changes in America how well you did. So far, all that dialoguing hasn't helped. So we're trying something new, and that's just building our own. Now, we need to stop thinking that we can't build our own. We need to stop thinking we can't build our own. We need to stop thinking that we do need other people. We don't. We never did. I've always understood I can do my own thing. I never I don't think in things in terms of you got something special over there and I want to join you. I think things like, oh, that is special. How do I build this myself? How do I put this together myself? As soon as you act like you don't want me to help you, want to help me with that, whatever it is, I am gone and building my own. I remember when I first, this is an example, when I first met my best friend when I was a child. I think I was 12 and she was 11. And my uncle and his friends were 13 and 12 and 13 and 14 in our age, in that range. Okay, what they did was build a little go-kart like thing that had wheels on it, and you push it from behind and run. We asked, can we, would they ride, would they let us ride it, right? They told us they ain't letting no girls ride that thing, da 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 da. Then we look down that way and they got the cute girls on it and they pushing them. I'm mad. I'm standing up in the kitchen looking out the window. How do I get me one of them things? How do I make it? I'm putting it together in my head. How do I go about making myself one of those? How do I, I'm about 12 and I'm thinking that. And then I noticed a little girl across the court. She came downstairs with a hammer and a pair of skates, and she had some wood in her hand, and she's sat down on the porch and started taking stuff apart and hammering to make her own. And I said, that's what I'm talking about, in so many words. And I went down there and introduced myself, and she thereafter became my best friend because she thought like I did. Make your own. And that's what I'm saying. Like over the years, I hear people they don't want to put black people in the movies. They don't want to put black people into this. So make your own. Stop asking them for go in their stuff. Now, as a consequence for them not putting you in the movie, and that is you don't go see it. Let them go see it. See their own movie. You make your own. Right now, with this technology these days, you don't have to ask a white person to put you in a movie. You can make your own right online. You can tell your story right online. All the storytellers in the world, black, can have a website where they tell their stories vocally. And all we got to do is log in. We can become members or whatever you want. You don't need them. We don't need them. We never did. I got people that I love right now think that we need them. Like for example, inner city. The people of the inner city think that they need money from the suburbs to help support them. Actually, you're the taxpayers. You can't get out of paying taxes. Your taxes actually built the suburbs. People in the inner cities' taxes built the suburbs. The suburbs wouldn't exist and wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the money from the inner cities. You might not have a lot of money and they taking what's there, but that population in the inner city built the suburbs, and it still is. We don't even need their schools. Every 16-year-old who's going to school can get a GED and then start building their future and their businesses right now. Okay, so we never did need them. Next part is this. I'm saying that we are living in a hostage and terror situation because right now it's covert breaking the Constitution. We don't have equal protection under the law. I honestly believe that the whole judicial system should not apply to black people because white people aren't unbiased enough to rule. I don't think that white people should be judges, policemen, prosecutors, or defenders. They shouldn't be district attorneys or what's that other role that they have. They shouldn't be nobody in the judicial system, not even wardens, not even prison wardens or prison keepers, because they're not unbiased. And so, since you can't be unbiased, you should not rule or judge any black person. Should not rule or judge or pass judgment on any black person in any context. I don't even think that officers should stop black cars unless there's imminent danger. Everything else you need to send an email or mail it to their house. They got a broken tail light, mail them a notice. They are ran a stop sign and nobody died, mail them a notice. You got their license, it's right there, you can pull it up. When they even if there is danger and you stop the car, you've got everything you need when you got that VIN number. You don't need to have him going in his glove compartment. And even if whether they had insurance or not, they need to prove that after they get their ticket or whatever you're gonna write. And if you do stop them, the second word out of your mouth should be what they did. I stopped you for X. None of the intimidating, harassing questions. Where you going? What you doing? What business is that of yours? And what does that got to do with what they did or whatever violation is? Name the violation, write the ticket, go away. That's all you gotta do if you want to do it. But I don't even think you should even go that far. If somebody's made a violation, type it in, have them send a ticket by mail. That's it. Because I don't think that, and that's on the highways, interstate highways. White police cars should not be driving in black neighborhoods. White police officers should not be in black neighborhoods. That whole judicial system is a terrorist organization at this time, and we're hostage to it because we don't have equal protection under the law. I think it's what's like the 14th Amendment or something. But anyway, it's not equal protection under the law. We're being taxed, but we're not being represented fairly. So that whole judicial system shouldn't apply to black people. We should have our own, a separate one. I would like to see a constitutional amendment put out like that. And that should apply for any neighborhood where they can prove that you don't have equal protection of the law. And I'm thinking about Hispanic neighborhoods and possibly Native Americans neighborhoods. And I think that Native Americans are separate. I would like to see a black homeland in the Americas. I would like to see a separate black homeland, much like the Jewish state in Israel. I would like to see that for black people. We are in a terror and hostage situation. All those things are on the verge, or if not the verge, of happening with us. I don't think they'll put us in ovens, but they will be equally insidious. I want a black homeland. My people in Africa are even brainwashed because I'm mad at them because in my mind they ain't even got an excuse. They at least are the majority. But we are still not thinking black first. And so until we heal, we ain't gonna get things straight. So we gotta have a movement of black first, and so we can learn black first and pro black, and then begin to heal and build. And we've got to do it with our own hands and our own mind. Everybody in it's got to be a black face. All hands in it got to be black hands. And all resources got to be black resources. Only thing we want from white people is their absence. Only thing we need from white people is their absence. We don't want their help because they can't help us fix ourselves. There are some white people that are great people and they are rooting for us. And I thank you. But you can't help us on this one because we got to do it ourselves. But what we would like for you to do is to rein in the white trolls and the white people who are undermining it. If you can jack them up at your kitchen tables when they're saying their things they say, that'll be helpful. And when they're in their little informal, impromptu meetings that they have when they want to talk about race, and if you could jack them up when that is in a room with all white people and they say that little nasty stuff they say when they're comfortable, if you can jack them up and tell them to stop it and rein them in and let them know they don't have a safe harbor with you, that'll be helpful. So that's what if white people want to help, I'd like for you to do that. So a long time ago, I said I don't never want to hear another white person talk about black rights, because I shouldn't be the one to hear it. It should be among white people who talk it. It's not a conversation for me. Okay, I'm right at about 40 minutes, and I did say everything I need to say on this. Huh. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I did have this one. I said, while we are in a hostage terror situation, remember that not all white people are your friends, and you can't afford to think that way. Well, I'm gonna try to make this short. A lot of black people that do have white friends and are around a lot of white people, you gotta be aware that you are in a state of danger, terrorism. Any one of them can attack you. You cannot let yourself be comfortable. You can't let yourself think that they won't hurt you, because they are proving that they will. They're proving that they can. And the ones that's trying to save you is running in slow motion. And by the time they get there, it's all over. Look at the ones who try to save you. They're really inept at it. Okay, so they get to have the kudos for trying to save you, but they just didn't make it in time, as proven by the dear gentleman in Greece that died. All the people who tried to save him just happened to not be successful. Yet they want to claim they tried to save him. I looked at the videos; they weren't very good at it. So the guy died. Normally, I would say about this dear gentleman that died, and this is going to sound harsh. I am absolutely sorry that he died, and I'm sorry that he got killed. But he wasn't prepared for this world. And to let your child not be prepared for this world is a disservice on him. So, all parents, let this be a cautionary tale, and a little bit of that on the child too, because you are in social media. You are present in this country. You've seen the news, you've seen the world, you see things. There are things that you can't get comfortable doing. I'm gonna give you a situation, and I think that, yeah, I don't think this lady would mind me telling it. In her area of the country, there was this white man that's running around stabbing black people. He wasn't caught yet. So she's standing in the store looking at allergy medicine and trying to pick out what to get. A white man walked up to her and wanted to tell her what he usually got. And she talked about how people usually chit chat in the store about something, and he was holding up the bottle talking about what had worked for him because he had allergy. But meanwhile, while he's doing that, she's looking at him, waiting on him to make a sudden move so she'll react, because she didn't, the way she explained to me, she didn't understand. She wasn't sure whether he was a guy who walked around stabbing people and trying to catch her off guard or what. So she's looking at him suspiciously, although she's talking to him. Okay. And then what she was reason why she was talking to me was because she was feeling bad about being so suspicious. She was feeling bad about being so suspicious. I said, not only should you be suspicious, I commend you for being suspicious. I commend you for being prepared to react, because she's almost 6 foot tall. She's a tall lady, and she would have hurt that poor guy if he had a sneeze or made a sudden move. He would have had every ball upside his head and then some. Probably had a chef put on him, and all he did was sneeze because she was ready for him. But the reason why I was saying that is, if he was him, if he was that guy stabbing people, her suspiciousness probably saved her life, because people who are on the hunt look for soft targets. They look for places that for people who are vulnerable. She was on alert when she was talking to him. Although she was saying the right responses, the look in her body language was on alert. She was ready to react. Um, she, you know how you are when you're on flight, you're tense, you're ready, you're alert. Okay? If he was the one that was doing that, she probably say it probably saved her life, because she was ready to react, and he would have been hurt, and he didn't see her as a victim. So I'm not sure whether he was it or not, but the gentleman walked away. And if he was the guy, he knew that she was ready for him. That's her body language. Okay? I'm saying recognize that people might attack you. Recognize that your white friends won't save you. I'll give you another example. Um, my cousin was about 10 years old, and she asked her mother what to do if her friend was getting jumped on. And this is how divine spirits work. Because I had another another question, the same thing. Well, I'll get to that. Okay, my cousin asked her mother, and she was a little girl, what should I do if my friend is getting jumped on by a bunch of people? Her mother promptly said, help your friend fight. This is going to be one of the times I won't get mad at you for fighting. Help your friend. Okay? That was the black lady's response. A few days later, a white child about the same age, it was a little white boy. Now, my aunt's child was a girl on this one, about the same age, and there was a little white boy asking his mother the identical question. Ask his mother the identical question. And I overheard it, and she said, and the white mother said, go get help. Go find an adult. The white mother told her son to go find an adult if your friend is getting jumped on. If your friend, if a bunch of people are attacking your friend, she wants her son to go find an adult. Now, that's why I'm saying the divine spirits work in mysterious ways, because the divine spirit wanted me to compare those two responses, and I did. The thing is, if these kids were friends, my cousin would have been jumped on and been history. Whereas if they were friends and he was jumped on, she would have been helping him fight. My cousin would have been helping that little white boy fight the people that were jumping on him. Whereas if my cousin was being jumped on by a group, he would have ran away. Talking about finding somebody to help. So their friends, white parents are telling white children to do different things. So I'm not surprised that he got killed. That man in Greece, that young man in Greece got killed. Not at all. And so I am sorry for his family, but I do know that he wasn't gonna wind up with a, maybe he would have later. He had his whole future in front of him, and I'm sorry to see it and I'm sorry to hear it. And I'm saying, future black men, black young men, you got to change something. You can't get caught out like that. Choose your friends. Choose friends whose mother told them to help you fight, not run for help, among other things. Okay? You've got to realize you're in a hostage terror situation, and you can't have friends that are white, because they're not going to be a benefit to you, and nor will you actually be a benefit to the white community. I mean, to the black community. All your resources will be used in the white community. You won't be really somebody that's going to help the black community. We would like to have you if you are willing to be pro-black and black first. But if not, just say so and, be on the wayside. But recognize that those are the people who are going to run away if you're in trouble. Okay, and conveniently not be fast enough to stop somebody from hurting you. Okay, now I'm done. Thank you for listening to me. Bye bye.